I'm Dr. Barry, licensed psychologist, and here we talk about true crime and psychology. Thank you so much for joining. Let's hop right into today's topic. Let's go.
Welcome. I am so glad to be back. I took a little bit of a break and I'll be talking about that break during the next video. But while I was gone, there was a verdict in the George Pino case. There was also a verdict in a few other cases. And so let me know in the comments if y'all have any questions about any cases that happened last week. I got back into town on Wednesday and then caught up. So I truly took a true crime detox. Besides watching, it's Teach Me a Lesson. I think that was it. It was a K-drama over on, I want to say Netflix. I'm almost positive it's Netflix because I was also watching things on Disney Plus as well. But there's it's a graphic thing, but it was a very good show. Whole other conversation. So with the George Pino verdict, that case has been called the boat crash. The incident happened back in 2022. In my comments, there was a lot of information about the adults allowing the teenagers to drink. And they weren't just drinking a little bit, the teenagers were drinking. One girl testified that she had had 10 drinks, which for me, that would be quite a bit. And that's why I've paired this case with my following case about a mom out in Colorado that is accused of allowing her daughter to excessively drink to the point where her daughter is no longer here because of the chronic effects of alcohol use and likely alcohol abuse. So we will talk about that case next. I think with this case, there really wasn't testimony that he was operating the boat in a way that was out of the norm. So while he was driving the boat fast, and yes, he should have been watching, looking, if he couldn't see a certain part, like let's say the girls were standing up, or let's say his vision was impeded in any way, it should have been on him to ask them to move. The jury deliberated for about an hour and a half, and they ended up finding him not guilty of manslaughter, or I think it was something like, it was like boat death, something like that. They ended up finding him not guilty of both. The victim's family. So Luciana Fernandez, Lucy, her family released a statement afterwards just talking about, it sounds like they respect the verdict and yet they live with this tragedy for the rest of their life. It sounds like they appreciated the fact that the state attempted to get some type of justice for their daughter. The jury just did not think that it rose to the level of criminal negligence. Now, civil liability, yes, I believe there's already a $16 million judgment that's been issued. And it wasn't clear to me if Luciana's family was included in that or if that was just, I think her name was Katie. There was another teen that survived that has ongoing physical and neurological deficits. And so sometimes the criminal case has to go first before they can handle it on the civil side. But my heart just truly goes out to that family. We often hear defense attorneys try to say this was just a tragedy. This was a tragic accident. I don't know the role, his emotions, because he was weeping and crying and having a lot of emotions through. So I didn't watch every moment of this trial. I would tune in and out. There were moments he was sitting very close to the jury. The state allowed. I don't really have a good idea of if him sitting there, did that keep him out of their eyesight? I'm not sure why he was allowed to sit there, but it was a lot. And so yes, Lisa definitely was not surprised by this. Hey mama, the hair is looking more golden. Yes, purple conditioner. So they have purple shampoo. For me, purple conditioner really helped like take out some of the brassiness. I will be touching up my roots towards the end of the summer. I'll be doing that a little bit later. I don't like dyeing my hair in the middle of the summer because I'm gonna be in the pool, gonna be doing all those things. That was a side quest. That was a little side quest. So once again, the jury pretty much they agreed that this was a tragic accident and not a crime. And he will, for the rest of his life, he will have to live with the fact that he was operating the boat where one of his daughter's very good friends, and I'm guessing this tragedy corresponds with her birthday. So every year around her birthday, she's going to have to cope with that. He's going to have to cope with his role, his responsibility within all of that. I personally, just for safety in general, I wouldn't ride in a boat where someone is drinking. That's just me. Um, I would not do that personally. And then also, I mentioned in my last video covering this case that anytime I am riding on a boat, I always wear a life jacket. I can swim. It's just you never know. I would just rather have on the life jacket and not need it than not have it and need it. So those are just some of my thoughts. Let me see. Yes, Lisa, I saw this case. I think that it was a 7-year-old that was 200, maybe 5-year-old. There was a case, a child that was, I think, 255 pounds and at like 7 and he died due to complications of obesity, and his parents have been charged in his death. I do not know what's going to happen in that case. I had a picture all set up that I forgot to share. I am getting over a so sometimes after you travel, you end up with a little bit of a head cold. I am getting over a bit. So if I sound kind of more nasally than normal, um, I am getting over this. Thank you for this, Afton. The 7-year-old was the one that passed, and the family also had a 5-year-old in their care as well. And if that child was going to medical doctor appointments or any of those things, I would have thought that somebody might have called social services or something. The family, they weren't like, it sounds like they were able to function, they were doing well, and it's really sad that that child ended up passing. Yeah, I'm super nasally. I think I pass it on to my husband too. So sorry, babe, but yeah. Uh, Normally it starts at my son and it goes to me because I normally I nibble off of my son's plate. So if he's sick, I normally get a little bit sick, and then I give it to my husband. This time I am ground zero. I know I am, but I'm still glad to get to hang out with you all here. So on to the second case that I wanted to chat with you all about. This one, when I saw this, so the mother's name is Gretchen Ryan. She is 55 years old and in Colorado. Her daughter, Grace, died from complications from excessive alcohol use, likely abuse. She died from aspiration pneumonia and fatty liver disease, which was discovered during her autopsy. This happened, I think it was back in March, or at least her it looks like her autopsy was sometime in March. Over 173 bottles of liquor, which mainly consisted of vodka and other hard liquor, was discovered in Grace, the daughter's bedroom. The bottles were mainly hidden in her bed and closet. According to prosecutors, Ryan, the mother, supplied Grace with alcohol regularly, consumed and used cannabis with her, and communicated with her every day. So I guess the daughter was asking the mom to buy her alcohol. The mom withdrew her from school so that they could. So this is the state's theory. So she was withdrawn from school, and then the mom and daughter consumed alcohol together. She was enrolled in online school but didn't really attend consistently. According to authorities, the prosecution claims that the mother continued to expose Grace to the dangers of alcohol despite her deteriorating health and pleas from Grace to stop. She felt like she was dying. And evidence collected in this case consists of text messages in which, so I guess there's a message that says that she was committing child harm. I can't say that word. And red rum, and that she was going to prison. So it sounds like she was aware that her actions were significantly harming her daughter. There's a father that was living in the basement, like and I guess the father was just oblivious to everything that was happening upstairs. I wonder what information is going to come in from the father. I do have a link to this case down in the description. So I have a link to this one down in the description if anybody wants to read up on this one more. Like I said, it came across my feed and I was like, "What?" Uh, and I guess the mom asked the daughter if she wanted to die after the daughter had a medical episode. And the mom admitted that she was trying to be the cool mom. And so she's been charged with second degree red rum. And so that is a lot. That is a lot. I wonder if the mom, in her defense, so the reason why I wanted to talk about this case from a psychological perspective is I wonder if the mom is going to claim that she's an alcoholic. And if alcoholism, that she wasn't intentionally trying to harm her child, but because of her own alcoholism, that she was unaware fully. But it sounds like there are messages where she's aware that her actions can lead to her daughter's death. So I don't know, because I think her attorney is going to try to get those charges down. Like they would try to argue for something lower. I do think a jury, based if the evidence that's or if the facts that have been provided in the news articles, if those are facts that come into the case, I really could see her being convicted of second degree red rum. Her daughter was 16 years old at the time of her death. And so I think of people like letting a teenager have a glass of wine with dinner or something. So culturally, so there are some cultures in France and Italy. Sometimes there are other cultures where they allow a child to have like one drink in moderate. Like if they're not getting drunk, they're not drinking excessively. They just have like one drink with dinner or on a special holiday. So maybe on New Year's Eve, the family gets some champagne or something and everybody toasts together. This is different. It sounds like the daughter was the mother's drinking buddy, and that is a problem. Very, very big problem. And so I just heard about this case this past week. So just this week, I heard, this one came across my feed, and I don't think they have a trial date or anything for this yet. And but it's definitely one that I'm going to follow because the details are just wow. And also, I do think the mother may attempt to do what I think Sarah Boone probably should have claimed. I had a bad alcohol problem, but she didn't. She wanted to claim that she was a victim of domestic violence, despite the fact she was the one actually causing harm. If I could see an attorney potentially trying to mitigate some things by saying the mother needs treatment and that she's an alcoholic. I don't know that that would be successful. So once again, we just talk about these things to see, like, I wonder what could happen in this case. I do think a jury could convict her, even if the defense did attempt to submit some type of mitigating evidence. I think some of the text messages, if all of that comes in, I think that will definitely bring things up. Alcohol reduces inhibition. And it sounds like the mom might have had a drinking problem. And I have so many questions about dad who's in the basement, because it sounds like there's also some enmeshment, some family role where I think the mom was trying to be a friend to the daughter. And because it's my understanding, the father was oblivious to all of this happening. And so that's where I'm like, did he have some type of health condition, or like, was he teleworking? And like, I have questions about how he wasn't aware. It's my understanding that Grace's health deteriorated to the point where she was incontinent, and she was like it was taking a major toll on her body. And it doesn't sound like the mother sought any medical treatment, or that the mother stopped providing her with alcohol. And so it's a lot. So it sounds like the mother and daughter would drink together. That's what it sounds. So this is all new case, new reporting that hasn't to the case yet. And yes, so I am not Catholic, but my mom back in the day, long time ago, she was dating somebody that was, and they had like the wine. So for communion, they used real wine, and everybody drank from the same cup. Um, and so just for this was pre-COVID, all that stuff. I don't do sharing the same cup from everybody else. Give me my little juice thing. I apologize for needing to wipe my nose. It's one of those. I told y'all I'm getting over this head cold. All right. And so let's see. Let me see if I can find the information on that 7-year-old. Parents arrested. Yes. Yes, because the 7-year-old weighed 255 pounds. So there are adults that have, not, so that's at 7 years old. He weighed 255 pounds. And so this case is out of Michigan. Damien and Jessica O'Brien were arrested last November after a witness called authorities. Both face charges of second-degree red rum, second-degree child harm in the presence of another child, torture, and 2 counts of second-degree child harm, according to court documents. Their son, Casper O'Brien, died in November of 2025. The couple also has a daughter that was 5 years old at the time. Court filings allege that the parents failed to provide adequate care for Casper, who allegedly became immobile due to their neglect. Prosecutors say the couple did not provide proper nutrition, a regimen of exercise, or a safe and clean living environment, and failed to seek medical treatment for the child despite the family having health coverage. They're also charged with a second count because of the 5-year-old that witnessed everything. And I think the 5-year-old was also morbidly overweight, was dirty, knocked in her head, and was naked outside when law enforcement arrived. An autopsy conducted determined that extreme morbid obesity caused Casper's death. And that is that part. So it really is sad, horrific case. I will keep an eye on that one. Once again, that case is out of Michigan. All right. Yes. Yeah. So for our church, they do the little cups of juice. Definitely content warning. Thank you, Afton. I appreciate you for giving that, because this case, it's a very, very sad case. Very, very sad. And and it sounds like the parents were just neglectful and they didn't tell their child no to food. And so children can get to the point where they're overeating and where things are not safe and healthy for them. So I'm very much a body positive therapist, and so weight doesn't necessarily mean health, but in this case, a 7-year-old over 200 pounds, that is not healthy at all. And it sounds like it was to the point where this child could not walk, like he was immobile. And it sounds like there was just severe neglect. I wonder if they were homeschooling that information. I haven't seen information about that because if the child was in school, the school likely would have contacted social services to get the family resources and support. The parents may have also had their own issues with food. And that's where any type of food addiction or something like that, I don't know if there's any defense because it sounds like the children were dirty. They weren't being properly cared for. It sounds like there's more than just food. And so I will definitely be keeping an eye on that. Yes. And so that's where thank you, Afton, for the children were not in school, which does not surprise me. I hope that all states have a mandatory physical once a year or twice a year check-in for kids that are homeschooled, where somebody gets to put their eyes like on it, or that they have to submit like, but I don't think states will ever do it. But I think there should be more supervision and monitoring with with homeschool, because we've seen a bunch of these cases where people that are homeschooling have unfortunately kids have fallen through the cracks and have suffered immensely because of it, because nobody was aware. Once a month, I agree. I would be okay with that. I would be okay with that. Yes. Thank you, Afton, for providing your source, ABC 12 News. And that's where I wonder if they were isolated from other family, or if, because it sounds like somebody else called it in. So a witness called. So that's where I wonder what was going on there. I do. I personally wonder about that. So I will be live on Tuesday. And then also I might go live on Friday. So the stream for this coming week, we'll do a stream about 6 p.m. on Tuesday. And then it'll most likely be an earlier, like 1:30, 2 o'clock stream on July 3rd. I hope you all, if you're in the US and if you celebrate the 4th, I hope you all have a good 4th weekend. We had plans to maybe go to an amusement park, but in Virginia, it's supposed to be hot. It's supposed to be super hot this weekend. And so we are not going to be doing that. We are going to be at home. We might, so Friday, we'll probably order food. We'll see if we order food on Saturday too. But sometimes we like to do Five Guys on holidays like that, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Hey, welcome. My next video is going to be recapping our Disney trip. And so if you'd like to stay around for that, please do. And also, as a psychologist, 10 things I would not know. I think it's 9 things I would not do as a psychologist with going to Disney with my family, protect my mental health and the mental health of others. I will see y'all in the next one. I hope y'all have a good one. I'll start the next stream in about 5 minutes. I'm going to blow my nose. Be kind, don't do crimes, and I will see you all next time. Have a good one.